institutions from low and middle income countries can register. So low income countries got free access to our resources. You see the countries on the map in blue, and middle income countries receive low cost access to our resources. In total, at the present, 125 countries can have access Research4Life resources. So who can use Research4Life? Institutions, local, not-for-profit, and government institutions can register. Here is a list of main type of institutions, like universities, research institutes, government offices, NGOs, or national libraries. So in case you know an institution in your area which is not yet registered, please spread the word and encourage them to register. So how you can register? This is our website, www.research4life.org, and there is an access page. On the bottom, there is also a link. I circle it. And then you go to the access page where all the eligible institutions are listed. Under eligibility, you will also find the list of countries. And the how to register page will guide you to a step-by-step guide. Here you will find all the information you need to register. Thousands of universities already use Research4Life, so please check the list of registered universities and schools. And this link below leads you to the registration form. Here again, there is a list of universities which you might want to check. So how do you log in? We suggest to log in from the Research4Life portal. Here is the login page. And then if you enter your password, you will arrive to the 5 program portal. And one is GOALI, which is on law and social sciences. Before I give the floor to Naina, I just mentioned that we have a training portal on the website where you will find presentations for your users or presentations on offer skills. We regularly organize massive online courses on Research4Life resources. The next will start in April, so please sign up if you wish. This webinar is recorded and will be available on our webinar website. There you will find other webinars, previous webinars. We have a marketing materials, so please use these to promote Research4Life to any user who can participate. Finally, please follow us. We have several social media channels, or sign up to our monthly newsletter. We also have a help desk, so in case you have a technical problem, please write to them. And that was my part, so I think I stopped the presentation and I give the floor to Naina. And yeah, one just before Naina just starts your presentation, there will be time for question and answers at the end of the Naina's presentation.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I'm located in Ithaca, New York, where it is a beautiful sunny morning. We're supposed to have lovely moderate temperatures today. Quite unusual for us at the end of March to be looking at such spring-like weather, but it's very exciting and I'm looking forward to it. And it's morning here, so I'm saying good morning to you. It's good afternoon or good evening for many of you. I appreciate your joining us at some odd times probably, so thank you all. So what I'm going to be sharing with you today is I'm going to be demonstrating just some of the many tools that are available, tools and resources that are available in GOALI. So let me go ahead and share my screen. I'm going to be live demonstrating on GOALI. this is the GOALI portal. From this page, you can access all of the riches that are available in GOALI. You can also use the website in not just English as I'm using it, but we do have a language tab. Finally, and you can use the different languages from the upper right corner, where my mouse is pointing. So what we're going to do is first we're going to try to find just some simple known items. I have a journal title that we'll be looking for, and I have a book title that we'll be looking for. So when we are starting out, we have the content. The content home always takes us back to all the access that we're looking for. The content home has a search bar. It has two browse alphabets: browse journals and browse books. That's what we're going to be using first. So for browsing journals, we're going to be looking for the Uniform Law Review, and that begins with the U. So I'll go ahead and click the U. Now, what you're seeing on this page, you're seeing a number of green boxes, and I'm using a test account. This test account gives me full access to GOALI content. There are, depending upon your country, you will have different levels of access to GOALI content. You can always tell immediately whether you have access to a specific item by looking for the gray exclamation point. But I have met the many green boxes that will shows me that I have access. Is there a question? Wonderful. Okay, so I was looking for the Uniform Law Review, and in fact, there is the Uniform Law Review. And notice that it's among a number of journals from different sources that we can use. We're going to get much more deep into finding articles in journals in just a moment, but for now, let's go back to our content homepage, and we can look for a book. So the book I'm going to look for is called Machinery of Criminal Justice. So again, I'm going to choose M, and I'm going to scroll down, and here is my book, Machinery of Criminal Justice. Now, remember that once you find a journal or a book or a journal article on GOALI, you will be taken to the publisher's website. So let's see what that looks like with Machinery of Criminal Justice. So I'm here on Oxford Scholarship Online. I'm going to clear the cookies reminder, and I'm here on Oxford Scholarship Online. I see the book Machinery of Criminal Justice. The front matter is available. There's front matter in the book. Perhaps I'm interested in jumping right into chapter 1. So let me click that. Now, I get a bit of a surprise when I click chapter 1 because it says it requires a subscription or purchase. Don't worry, you have that subscription with GOALI as long as you have the green light on your GOALI portal showing you have access to this book. So what do you do now? You're going to go over to the teal colored bar where it says sign in via your institution. I'm going to click that link, and I'm going to search for Research4Life, which is your institution for purposes of using Oxford. I select Research for Life. And now when I look at the long drift from morality play to machine, I see that my article is there. Notice that I can view the PDF. So I can view an image of this book, and I can download it for use offline. So there is my image. So thousands of books are available on law and social science topics from GOALI, and you can frequently download the PDF as I've just demonstrated. Let me go back to my browser. So that's just starts to show you the kinds of things that you're able to find using GOALI. Let's go deeper now into finding things where we don't know the name of the book or the name of the journal. Research for Life knows that frequently you are trying to find articles and ebook chapters about a specific topic where you don't have a citation to those topics. You don't have a citation for a journal article, you don't have a citation for an ebook chapter. Fortunately, GOALI makes it easy to find these articles. So I'm going back to the content home again. And now I'm back. And so now I'm going back to the GOALI portal. And note I'm going to be using the search function. So the search function is searching all across the Research for Life materials. So you're searching not just legal materials and social science materials, you're searching Hinari's health materials, you're searching Agora's agriculture materials, and this is in the academic interdisciplinary world we're in, this feature increases the likelihood that you will find the materials that you need for your research or for the research of scholars that you are working with. So let's try a search. I'm going to be searching for materials on climate justice. And I've just gone ahead and I've just typed my 2 keywords in, and I'm going to search. So I'm now taken to Summon. And this is Summon is a powerful service subscribed to that many university libraries use for this same purpose in order to find all the different materials that are in their collection. So you'll see that the phrase climate, the terms climate justice give us a huge number of results, 149,124 results sorted by relevance. Well, of course, we can't go through all of those results, and I can promise you that we're getting a lot of those results because there's something about climate or it's something about justice, and it's not about climate justice. So if we're particularly interested in that specific phrase, I can go ahead and put quotation marks around climate justice so that I'm only getting results that use the phrase climate justice. And that reduces my results considerably to 3,561 results. Still a lot of results. Now, if my topic is generally climate justice, I am getting good results at the top because Summon by default, Summon organizes my results by relevance. So this is a relevance sorting results. And so this is helpful to know that right at the top, I have a review essay, for example, on climate justice. And if I want to read this article, I would simply click the full text online link below the title. And this is from 2015. It's not right up to the minute, but it's within the last 6 years. Now, what if I want to filter more? What if I want to make sure, for example, that I actually am just looking at material? I want to look at climate justice from a legal perspective. How can I look at that from just a legal perspective? I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to select the discipline. Discipline are the big areas of topics that are included in this database. And we see here that law, we have 463 articles and book chapters that have the metadata saying that they are about the discipline of law. So I'm going to go ahead and select that discipline, which reduces my results again. Now I'm down to 463 results. What if I really want to be even more precise and I'm specifically interested in the environmental aspects of law? I can try using one of the subject terms, get more specific in the subject term box. Notice that it gives me the first 5 subject terms here. If I didn't see the term I wanted in those first 5 results, I would click more. And I have many, many choices. And I can select as many of these choices as I want. But right now, I really just want to focus on the environment. So I've clicked environment. I need to scroll back up to the top and apply my choice, which takes us to 99 results. Remember, these are all in the discipline of law with the subject term environment. Now, the thing to remember about subject terms and disciplines, I mentioned these are metadata. These are terms that have been applied by the publisher to the article. There may be some articles where the publisher has not applied any metadata, in which case I have to keep in mind that I'm not going to be seeing those particular articles when I do this kind of narrowing. And if I'm concerned about that, I might want to try doing some more keyword searching to pick up those other articles. But to start out with, what I really want is to be focusing on the items that have these metadata applied to them, or tags, you can think of them as, law and environment. Now, I mentioned that the first article we noticed, which was a review of climate justice, it was about 6 years old. What if this is a topic that I've been following on a semi-regular basis? Maybe I'm coming back to this after a couple of years. In any event, I really want to just focus on what's been published in the last 3 years. Summon makes it easy for me to do that. If I just want the last 3 years, they give me a handy link. If I want to select a specific time period, they give me boxes to do that as well, which I can pick my dates using the calendar icons. Let's go ahead and see what we get in the last 3 years. And if we see now, we're getting articles from 2019, 2020, and I'm sure that if we scroll down a bit more, we would find articles from 2018 and a few from 2021. We now see the dates, March 25th, 2018 to March 25th, 2021. Articles published within that time period are included in our results. Now, we're still sorting by relevance. We're down to 14 results. What if we wanted to see the most recent one? I can go ahead and pick date newest, which is an article from, no, it looks like we don't have, we have articles from 2020 in our results. So sometimes what we really want is to start out our search in a very precise manner. And to do that, rather than doing the kind of filtering I've been showing you, we have some particular fields that we want to know if metadata has been filled in on those fields. So first I'm going to clear my filters. I'm going to take my climate justice search back to just those keywords, and I'm going to click the advanced search. And this advanced search is also accessible from the GOALI portal. Let me remind you, you can see it here, advanced search, just under the black search button. But we're going to advanced search within Summon. So a lot of great searching possibilities are hidden in this menu drop-down all fields. Some of my favorites are in here. So first of all, abstract. Many articles will have an abstract included with them from the publisher. Abstracts are going to have a summary of what's in the article. If I search just within the abstract, I'm more likely to get articles that are directly on point for my topic of climate justice. And so if I go ahead and search, let's see how many articles I get with the abstract. I get 567 articles where climate justice is mentioned in the abstract. Let me go back to my advanced search. What about geographic location? Climate justice can vary quite a bit depending upon what the climate situation is in a particular location. So if I were researching climate justice in the Pacific, where, as you may know, we have many small islands that are facing encroaching Pacific Ocean waters, I'm going to take this back to climate justice back to all fields, but I'm going to add another field of geographic location. Again, this is a metadata field. This has to come filled in from the publisher. And I'm going to add the search term Pacific as the region. So we're now looking for the phrase climate justice. It can be anywhere in the article or in the metadata, and specifically in the metadata, there's the geographic location field is Pacific. I do my search. And this gives me a number of results that, while they're not entirely all what I'm looking for, number 3 has to do with the region of the United States. Numbers 1, 2, and 4 are all having to do with climate justice in the Pacific Ocean. Climate justice in the Pacific, climate justice in the French Outre-mer, and rising oceans in the Marshall Islands, which is in the Pacific Ocean. So, and the next one as well, representations of Pacific Islands and climate change in US, UK, and Australia newspaper reporting. So we have very successfully narrowed our results to find materials that have to do with the Pacific, that have to do with climate justice. Go back to our advanced search. I have one more field to show you. Now, I could be doing this search where I do Pacific as a keyword term with climate justice. And whether this is going to give me more confidence or less confidence is going to depend upon how many results I get. I always like to try out the metadata because I feel like that really gives me some good articles right up front, and I'm not overwhelmed by 16,000 results. Some of you may prefer to have lots of results right up front and keep filtering down. But I like having the possibility of filtering by that metadata term Pacific in a specific geographic location. Now, we narrowed by subject terms when we did our search here. We could also start out our search by using specific subject terms. And I can do that, again, in the drop-down. I can select subject terms. And at this point, I can use something. I can add terms that are, if for example, I wanted law and environment, I could do that here as well. I can also use the advanced search to specify the article type I want. So say that I really know I don't want any newspaper articles or magazine articles. I can select, if I know I wanted ebooks, I could select that. I've just selected journal articles. There's my ebook. And if I'm concerned about whether they are scholarly materials, I have an item, a checkbox for that as well. So I can limit to scholarly materials, including peer-reviewed. And we're back with environment and law as our subject terms. We've narrowed our results to journal articles and ebooks that are scholarly and peer-reviewed, and I have 1,400 results. So lots of ways to play with our results and try to use the terms that we know to narrow our results down. So let's go back to the GOALI page. Here we are back at the GOALI portal. I want to point out a couple of things to you. First of all, if you're not ready to do a search and dive into all those thousands of results that you're getting in Summon, you can look to see if we have a journal or a book that's in the general subject area you're interested in. And to do that, I'm going to use the Subject tab. Again, it's reminding me that I have full access to things with the green light. So here I can select the subject. And these are, generally speaking, law and law-related subject areas. In my climate justice instance, for example, I might want to see what kind of books GOALI has on environmental law, policy, and planning. So I've selected that, and I now get 111 results of books having to do with environmental law, policy, and planning. I'm going to make sure I can see all my results. And if you look at these results, you'll see that we are drawing sources from a variety of publishers: Oxfam, Oxford University Press, John Wiley and Sons, Directory of Open Access Journals, Taylor and Francis. So we have quite a bit here from a variety of publishers. We also can see a little explanation that out of our 111 results, 6 are journals and 105 are books. So if one of the reasons to use subject search is that with subject search, you can find a book that is good for a scholar who's trying to get an introduction to an area or get a thorough overview of an area before looking for articles on get some good background before looking for articles on a very specific aspect of the topic. So using this subject sorting mechanism and to find books is really valuable, I think, and this is how I teach my 1Ls at the law school I work at to do legal research, is I encourage them to do some background reading in their books before they start diving into really specific searching on specific points for a hypothetical or a legal topic. So let's take a switch now. We're going to let me go back to the content home. GOALI comes with an incredible set of reference sources. And that's this link here, reference sources, just to the right of the Browse Journals alphabet. GOALI's reference sources include both legal specific reference sources and some general reference sources. I'm going to look first at some of the really great legal reference sources we have available. Again, I have access to all of these materials. Your access may vary depending upon the country you are in. The first material thing I'd like to focus on is the Max Planck Encyclopedia of Public International Law. If you're a scholar working in the field of international law, or you're working with scholars in the field of international law, and you have access to the Oxford materials in GOALI, GOALI provides you with some outstanding reference sources, including Max Planck. So let's take a look at the Max Planck Encyclopedia. So remember, we're going to a publisher's site and we're going to the Oxford publisher's site. So as I showed you earlier, I need to sign in via my institution. And remember, you're already signed in. It remembers that you used Research4Life, that I used Research4Life before. All I need to do is click it and I'm in. So how can I even begin to get started? Well, let's continue with our climate justice example that we used in Summon. Notice up at the top here, I have a search bar, and I can search a couple of different ways. I can search just in the Max Planck Encyclopedia, or I can search in a larger group of materials called Oxford Public International Law. For now, I want to search just in Max Planck Encyclopedia. So as its title indicates, Max Planck is an encyclopedia. It contains articles written by leading scholars on hundreds of topics in public international law. And this is the best part, it includes many citations to articles, books, and primary sources like treaties, conventions, and international cases, and domestic cases deciding international law. And you will have access to many of those also through Oxford Public International Law. So let's try our search for climate justice. And sometimes, depending upon your search, you may or may not find an encyclopedia article which has the same title as you're looking for, but you will also be searching the full text of those encyclopedia articles. So I've clicked search, and if I had an encyclopedia article that had that name, I would be seeing it right up front. But I do see several articles about climate and climate change. So I'd like to look at the result for climate change compliance procedures. This is a good example of a Max Planck Encyclopedia article. Navigation is in the pane on the left side of the screen. I'm going to expand it using expand all so I can see the subcategories that are included. They also provide links for the numbered paragraphs. And let's take a look at the notice that we have at the bottom, we have a cited bibliography, we have a further bibliography, we have cited documents, and we have cited cases. So I'm going to go to the cited bibliography. And here, notice that some of the articles are links. So for example, I just clicked on Global Administrative Law, the Quest for Principles and Values. This gives me a link in the pop-up to OXIO. This is going to take me to this cited document within my GOALI subscription. And here we are. I have access to this document. Let me go back. When I go to cited documents, these are going to be, if I have any that I have here, I have the Aarhus Convention, which we were just looking at, and I'm going to find links into materials that are referenced in the encyclopedia article. I also have the citations, And many of these, for example, may be available on the UN website because these are UN documents. Okay, so we don't just cover public international law in GOALI, we also cover comparative constitutional law. And while it's comparative constitutional law, it's quite likely you'll find materials for the Constitution of your country in the materials on Oxford. So I'm going to go back to the GOALI reference the GOALI portal. I'm still in the reference sources. And within the reference sources, if I go to the Max Planck Encyclopedia of Comparative Constitutional Law, I'll show you another example of working through the encyclopedia to get to some primary sources. I just need to sign in via my institution. Research4Life. So here we are in the Max Planck Encyclopedia of Comparative Constitutional Law. I'm going to search for climate. I'm going to use the Implementation and Enforcement of Environmental Rights article. I'm going to use the navigation to go to constitutional provisions, and specifically constitutional texts. So what I see here is I have links to different constitutions directly from the text. So again, I can use one of these here. For example, I'm seeing Constitution of France, Constitution of Nepal, Constitution of South Sudan. If I'm interested in the topic and how different, this is showing me how different constitutions recognize a constitutional right to, here's my quotation, to a quality, adequate, clean, healthy, productive, harmonious, or sustainable environment. So if I'm interested in seeing what some of these constitutional provisions look like, I can go ahead and use the links to go to the Constitution in the Oxford Constitutions of the world. Of course, if I know that I want a specific constitution, I can go directly to Oxford Constitutions of the world. Here I am back on the GOALI portal. I can go directly to Oxford Constitutions of the world. But when I'm reading about constitutional provisions having to do with the environment, I can also jump to the provisions in specific constitutions from around the world. Back in our encyclopedia article, notice that I have links. Let me scroll down a couple, down into interdependence with other rights. Notice I have links to some decisions. The GBEMRE case, Gebemri case versus Shell Petroleum from Nigeria. If I click on this link, I can go to the full text of this case back in the international law module that we were using a few minutes ago with Max Planck. Oxford includes as well, I mentioned at the beginning, let's go back to our reference portal. Through this reference portal, you have not just the specifically legal materials, but you have some reference sources that are not specifically legal, and some examples with some thoughts on how they might be useful to a legal scholar. The Dictionary of National Biography includes biographies and therefore history of prominent lawyers and judges. Oxford Bibliographies Online includes thousands, literally thousands of bibliographies about all kinds of academic topics. I'm signing in via my institution. And one of the modules in Oxford Bibliographies is International Law. And continuing with my climate example, I can find bibliographies on such things as environmental compliance mechanisms. There's an index over here. I can see, for example, dispute settlement mechanisms and multilateral environmental agreements. So these are links to the specific items that are recommended in the bibliography. Depending upon what is recommended, these may be freely available online, or they may be accessible through GOALI, or you may have access to them through your institution's library. That was Oxford Bibliographies Online. The Oxford English Dictionary includes, of course, legal terms, and it's the best English dictionary in the world. And Oxford Dictionaries Premium, I want to show you this because the login technique is a little bit different. Rather than signing in via your institution, you're logging in with Athens Access Management Federation. And there we are again, Research for Life. And specifically, Oxford Dictionaries Premium includes, and we'll see this when the page loads, for an English dictionary, one of our choices is Garner's Legal Usage, which is a definitive guide to modern legal vocabulary, style, and usage. So this can be helpful for instruction in legal writing if your institution teaches legal writing, or it can help you with your legal writing. I have just covered all kinds of things. There's one final thing I want to point out, and that is, I'm going to go to the content home. That is, the summon search searches across all of Research for Life, and it doesn't search based upon which materials you have access to based upon your country. In order to do a summon search based on your country, click on databases. So I just clicked on databases, scroll down, and you'll see there's a summon country specific search. And I can select the country to see what I have access, to search summon only for materials that in my country I have access to. And so I can use one of these links, will take me back to summon. It's the more familiar view. So if you want to make sure that you're just viewing the results from your country, use this summon country specific search. And remember, it's under databases on Content Home. With that, I have talked about many different things. I'm sure there must be questions pending, so I'm going to ask what questions I can answer.